Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here for Lighthearted Healers. This is the hour each week where we send out intentions to the quantum field as part of our subtle activism. And I'm so happy that Marlene is here in the studio with me, and I see Enid in the comments. So glad you're here. Let's go ahead and get started. And we begin with a 2-minute meditation where we are using our breath to bring our brains and our hearts into coherence. I'm going to mute your microphone, Marlene, so you can just relax. There we go. We're going to breathe in. Hi, Irma. Welcome. We're going to bring in for a count of 4, 5, or 6. Slightly longer exhale. 5, 6, 7. Inhaling. Exhaling. And almost immediately, your nervous system understands that it's time to relax. In and out, breathing through the heart space. Brain and heart working together. And consciously connecting to the energy of the group. This is the secret sauce in this style of meditation. As together we can amplify this meditation, the intentions that we send out. Breathing in, slightly longer exhale. Arriving here in the moment, centered, relaxed, knowing there's nothing else you need to do. Entering this bubble of energy that we've created. Where there's a higher, finer level of vibration. It's very comforting, very healing. Thank you, everyone. We are now connected. We have 3 intentions tonight. Our first one is for honeybees all around the world. I love meditating with the bees. They're such an amazing presence. And this year, they are expecting commercial beekeepers to lose up to 70% of their bees. And that normally you would lose 45% of your bees over winter, but it's not a good year for bees this year. So we're going to support them with this intention. We now intend for the immediate, complete, and permanent healing of honeybee colonies worldwide as they recover and rebuild robust and healthy populations. Allow this intention to drop into your heart chakra, project it out into the quantum field, and follow the energy. Thank you, everyone. Trust this intention for the bees and release it with love. Hi, Diane G. Welcome. All right, our next intention is written by my friend Sun Psychic Jean, who is a wonderful psychic medium and has a very active YouTube channel. And I didn't want to change this into our normal intention framework or format because the vibration of it and the images in it are so beautiful. But it can be a challenge to grasp an intention like this with so many moving parts. It has a lot of abstract concepts in it, and it includes a lot of working parts. So the way to approach an intention like this is just to grab some essential meaning within it, or a core emotion that's involved in it, and just grab onto that as it goes out into the quantum field. Let's give it a try. We now call upon all U.S. federal workers to embody and uphold their inherent power, maintaining a high vibration and frequency rooted in authenticity, sovereignty, and integrity. It is essential that they recognize and exercise their universal and inalienable right to live and work free from tyranny, intimidation, and unjust retaliation. In unity, we urge them to stand strong, support one another, and collectively uphold the principles of truth, justice, and freedom. Together, we foster an environment of empowerment, fairness, and respect for all. Allow this intention to drop into your heart chakra, project it out into the quantum field, and follow the energy. Thank you, everyone. Trust this intention and release it with love. Our final intention is the first of our new series. We have completed our Clairs series, and now I thought we would contrast that with some intentions for our physical bodies. Together, we now intend to care for our physical bodies with compassion and kindness and helpful habits, moving forward in life, healthy and well in every way. Allow this intention to drop into your heart chakra. Send it out into the quantum field and follow the energy. Thank you, everyone. Trust this intention for us and release it with love. Oh, I wanted to say that even though we have been intending for rather large ideas and efforts, I welcome requests for tiny little intentions as well. You have a job interview or a performance appraisal coming up, let us intend for you and support you. If you are planning to do a speech or a presentation, let us support you. It can be something tiny, so don't be afraid to ask for an intention. It's really fun to intend for individuals and help them get great results. Hi, Scott. Welcome. Glad you made it. Well, we intended for honeybees, we intended for U.S. federal workforce, and then we intended for ourselves and our uh, relationship with our body. Would anyone like to share their impressions? You can put them in the comments, and I'll keep an eye on that. And in the meantime, Marlene, can I unmute you and hear what you experienced?
So the bees, of course, dominated the entire thing. And I think that you sort of intended that actually in the arrangement that you put it together in. Because when I first, following the energy of the bees was the easiest thing to do because they're just like, come, follow me. And I was exploring the world of the bees. And I mean, it's what you would think, except for they did remind me about the bee dance, which if you don't know what that is, scientists have shown that there's a pattern that the bees make when they're dancing that actually communicates how they communicate to each other where to find more nectar, where to find flowers that they haven't gotten to yet, and it's quite a sweet and complicated dance. And then they actually they talked to me about. They talked to me about how yes, the hives would be lower, but what they do is they overbreed in the hive and then they spread. So when you see those big flocks of bees or groups of bees, what do they call colonies of bees that have like split? You'll always see like a big group of bees kind of hanging together in a tree or whatever. And so they, of course, it reminds me that we all have the potential to help the bees, get them their food and just plant a lot of flowers, plant flowers in your lawn. Even if you still have grass, just plant flowers in your lawn. Just throw the seeds around and with some seed balls and make sure there's lots of stuff for the bees, because that's kind of the focus, is that, yeah, they might be struggling, but they struggle more if we don't support them. And then they took me to a place where they kind of opened up a curtain, because bees sort of seem to me to be like beings that can transverse dimensions, because they aren't actually physically made to fly by physical standards. They're not really able to, but they can. And so they seem to have some otherworldly sort of gifts. So they took me into this curtain, and behind this curtain, like the world that they live in, and showed me the true colors of the flowers and stuff. But in that space was also where I found the federal workers. And so it was like seeing them through, like, it was like being in a big meadow, and there were all these tiny little lights, and the tiny lights together made up a lot of light. When we were working with the federal workers, I felt a lot of tension in my throat and in my chest, and I literally had to do a lot of grounding in that meditation, and like just work on with my own throat and my own heart chakra, to kind of I focused on the last part of it. But I mean, I focused on the whole thing, but the last part of it seemed the most important, in terms of, it's with all of us that we like reinforce sovereignty as well. Like, we all have the responsibility to bring these energies. But it did allow me to think that, maybe a good thing that they could do would be to put, or we could do, is to put candles in our window the same way we do when like someone passes, to remark, to like, notice like all the people who are losing their jobs, what that must feel like for the workers left behind as well. So that was a thought that came to me. And then in the last one, of course, the bees were there too. And they were like, well, a good way to get exercise is to like plant flowers. Anyway, so the last one was very sweet, and I just like went with it, whatever they want to do, bee dances and what have you, and planting. Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
that's beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Now, I never plan for these things to have like a through line, but they do. So I agree. The bees were present in everything. Let me say hello over here. Hi, Scott and Lauren. Welcome. Rooted Willow Readings. Welcome. And Irma, let's see. Let's put your impression up here. Irma says, for the bees, I saw lots of bees ready to come into Earth. We are encouraged to invite them in by planting at least one flower plant. By doing so with intention, it will help the bee population. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then she says, if we all do this, it will be very powerful, without question. Hi, Janet. Welcome. Yeah, for federal workers, Irma saw people removing handcuffs and metal suits. They were all gathered looking at one another, realizing how much power they have. Such a powerful meditation. Yes, as soon as I read what Sun Psychic Jean had written, I knew I didn't want to mess with it because it had amazing vibration. And Diane writes, for the third meditation, oh, Irma says, I had to remove my jackets because there was so much heat coming through, tons of energy. Yes. And let's see what Diane here says. For the third intention, I just felt grateful that I am healthy. Yes. And that you get to eat nutritious food. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I'll keep an eye on the chat, and as more impressions and insights are shared. But looks like I missed some up here from Diane. The first intention was magical. Oh, it's the bees. When I released the intention and followed the thought turned into a bee. And then suddenly she was that bee with the purpose. And her purpose was to collect nectar and bring it back to my colony. I felt very purposeful and important to my colony because I carried our food. And when it got cold, we huddled together and kept ourselves warm. Yes, I heard today that a teaspoon of honey is the lifetime product of 12 bees. So it's really magical stuff. And there's definitely a need for them to feel appreciated and for us to appreciate what they're doing for us. I guess something like 40% of food crops are pollinated by bees in particular. Oh, hi, Barbara. So good to see you. Here, let's put your comment up here. For the honeybees, I saw bees from all over the world banding together in a different plane, or like a dimension, I guess, to figure out a way. That's amazing, to help themselves. They were aware that people were less reliable than themselves. You were spot on. This is what I felt in my intention as well. I felt like we were kind of a bad boyfriend, to the bees. We were doing things that weren't great for them, and we didn't appreciate them. And in fact, I was shown, that scene in Peter Pan where you have to clap to show Tinkerbell that you believe in her and that you want to support her and send her love. Yes, it was like that. We definitely have to find a way to be more reliable partners for them. And I also saw them leaving to go to a different dimension or a different space. And I was a little bit alarmed by that, but then I realized that it could be totally reversed by showing them love and appreciation. Thank you. That's amazing. Okay, and Irma, last intention, encouraged to focus on the breath. I was encouraged to stop trying to make things happen. Ooh, embrace going with the flow. I love that. Wonderful. When we went to the second intention for the federal workers, I saw how the similarities to the bees, as you were pointing out, Marlene, that that we take them for granted, right? They are working away in obscurity for the most part because they don't get a lot of attention, and nor do they want that. Um, and I think Americans, a lot of us are getting a very um, harsh civics lesson, right? We didn't know what our government was doing for us necessarily, but we're sure going to notice it when they're gone. And the same is true of the bees. If the bees go, we are going to feel it, and it's going to hurt. So one of the things I felt about that group is I felt this sort of, I mean, I have a lot of public servants and federal workers in my family, so I know what kind of people these are. These are people who, for the most part, have a lot of education and could definitely make more money in the private sector, but what they're doing gives them tremendous satisfaction, and they love being a part of something bigger, which is making the United States actually work, right? Keeping the wheels of progress going, making it possible for the rest of us to focus on all the things that we want to do, right? I really don't want to go work at the post office. I have other things I'd rather do, but I am really, really grateful for my mail lady, Frances, and for everybody who wants that type of work and who is showing up diligently, reliably to do it. And I just love that so much. Let's see what Barbara has to say. For federal workers, she saw remaining and fired workers joining hands and becoming linked in a strong chain that became stronger and stronger and allowed less and less room for chaotic forces. Yes. Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that, Barbara. I had a real sense of them. Um, I had a real sense of them having a very determined, almost like a warrior spirit, right? Because they knew the value that they were bringing to their work, even if we didn't know what they were doing, even if they couldn't tell us because their work was classified. Yeah, we have a lot to learn. Yeah. The final intention for our body, it was really interesting because there was again that similarity of taking your health for granted, and also an element of asking yourself, if you're doing things that harm your body, why? What are the underlying assumptions or the underlying attitudes? Because first of all, our bodies don't deserve that, but there's something in our psychology, our socialization, our culture, something is giving us the opportunity to harm ourselves. And so that little bit of self-discovery could lead us to letting go of habits that we know aren't good for us, but we continue to do them anyway. Are we trying to hurt ourselves? I don't know. Maybe we could take a look at it and see what's underneath that. I think that would be really helpful. So let's see. I'm looking at the comments here. Yeah, thank you everyone for being so active in the comments. And I know that a couple of folks at the top were interested in having us intend for them. And here's from Scott. He would like to get his creative spark going again. Well, Scott, send me an email at relaxwithdaphne@gmail.com, and we'll work together to put something together for that. And Rooted Willow Readings, she needs the strength of Goliath over the course of a month or more. Yes, email me at relaxwithdaphne@gmail.com, and we'll put something together. Well, That was really wonderful. I appreciate you all showing up and lending your power to this. Very, uh, um, I was thinking as we were meditating today is that it's wonderful to meditate in a group like this, but you can also use this style of meditation on your own for your own purposes. And when a few months ago, um, I needed to climb a ladder and get and change out a smoke alarm that was, and we have 14-foot ceilings. It was way at the top, and I just was very, very frightened about getting up on this rickety ladder. The ladder wasn't that rickety, but it felt rickety to me because I didn't trust myself to be able to stay up on that ladder. But this smoke alarm was beeping for 3 days, and I had to do something. So I created a little PowerPoint slide for myself. I put the music in it, and it was all about easily and safely getting up on that ladder, removing that smoke alarm and returning to the ground safely with no problems whatsoever. And I was finally able to do it with the support of that intention. And of course, all the people from Lighthearted Healers, we've been meditating together for almost 6 years. So I imagined that you were all supporting me and helping me create that intention. So definitely try it out and uh, use this technique for your own purposes. Oh, good. Here's one more comment. Oh, yeah.
I was going to say also, to add to that, when I do it by myself, and sometimes I run a different group as well. So sometimes I'm by myself anyways. And I actually, when we do the heart centered work in the beginning, the heart math, quick coherence technique, I call in all my teachers and guides to join me, and the angels that I work with, um, and the ancestors. And I have them all join me, all my special team that is mine. And so I create my circle with that, and I still use the we in that sense, and just because it also is a great way, in terms of meditation, to get yourself out of the picture, right? To use the we, which is one of the biggest strengths I think of this whole. I mean, it's a simple thing, but if you're not starting your attention with I, it actually is so much easier to not think, get trapped in your thoughts about yourself. Anyways,
I
I just
I
wanted
love
to add
that.
that.
Yeah, yeah, you're so right. Every time I host this event, either in our old style on Zoom or here on YouTube, I always create the big circle with all my guides, my plant allies, and I invite your guides to all come. And that's why when we're breathing together at the beginning, it is about entering that sacred sphere of energy. So
Mm.
thank you for reminding me of that. Barbara said, for the last intention, I saw a vintage quilt that is so useful and also so beautiful and in need of loving, caring tenderness.
Oh, that's
Oh,
lovely.
that is gorgeous, Barbara. I love that so much. I think about this. I mean, I'm in my seventh decade of life. And what would my life be like and what would my body be like if I had never done anything to harm myself? What if every action was rooted in that compassion and kindness, that loving care, and those helpful habits? What would my life be like if I had taken every step forward and not taken 2 steps forward and 4 steps back over and over and over again? So that's why I'm glad we're diving into this series. So so I think we can do a lot to do this. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else we should talk about, Marlene, before we breathe together to disentangle?
I think it's great. We've done it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marlene. So fun to have you here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and mute your mic so you can just relax. And this is our disentangle time. And at this point, we're going to breathe together again for 3 minutes. And this time, you're withdrawing and disentangling your energy from the group. But if there's anything that you felt helpful or inspiring or useful, I'd like you to take that with you into your week. And as you inhale and exhale, relaxing the body, you might even feel like you have returned to your room, and there's a sense of solitude. Instead of being in the group energy, you're now back in your home environment, thinking your own thoughts, collecting your own energy around you, and letting go of any entanglements, any attachments, any energy from this effort tonight. You do not need to carry that forward with you. We've turned over our intentions to the quantum field, and we are going to trust them. And that means our energy comes back to us, and we are free to move forward healthy and well in every way. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time.